Huh?
Yeah. That's a nice jacket.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's what you get when
That's
pro mod
what you
champion.
get when you're a pro mod team.
I guess so. I wouldn't know.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Come hang out.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into it. So today we got Keith Haney and his team with him. You guys want to let's get a little introductions here. So you're obviously team owner, and across the board, you do. It seems like you do everything in racing.
Everybody knows my name.
Yeah, you're involved in every level of racing,
Yeah.
and it's pretty awesome. I mean, appreciate you bringing him over.
Oh, yeah.
And give us a little introduction on you, the drag drive repeat show. You freaking all the cool shit, and it's been pretty. You guys have had an awesome year on the drag drive repeat show. It seems
It's been amazing. It has been amazing. We've really grown leaps and bounds, and appreciate everybody out there to all the shares and all that kind of stuff right now. And that's really kind of what got me here. Just back up real quick. Daniel Green, big shout out to Danny Diesel. Kind of made all of this happen, and then. I can't leave well enough alone, and so I'm here this weekend to hang out with Keith and work on his YouTube channel, work on all of his social stuff, and then next week, sick week. So the timing couldn't be better. So shout out to Bradenton and Wes and all the team over there. So
good deal. And then how do you describe yourself? Because there's not really a good way. You do so much. What?
Well, I describe myself as absolutely bonkers, if you want to know the truth. Batshit crazy, if you want to say it that way. I co-own with another partner of mine. I have 7 car dealerships. I co-own with Todd Martin, my partner at Tulsa Raceway Park, Tulsa Speedway. Mm-hmm. I own the Midwest Drag Racing Series. Founded it in 2017, I believe, is when I founded it. Mm-hmm. And here it is today, strong and going. I have a lot of stuff that I do. It never stops from there, And
Yeah, it seems you're deeply rooted across a lot of different things.
mainly the automotive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah.
7 dealerships, that's quite a few.
Yeah, that's a lot of them. I have pretty much every make you can think of, and okautosdirect.com. If you're looking for a car, you can pretty much find everything that I own, from a Nissan, Hyundai, or whatever you look for, I got it, And of course, then you have the race team. Got it on top of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of trash talking.
That tends to be how it
I'm trying to
goes.
teach my crew guys here how to be trash talkers.
Yeah, so where do your crew guys fit in? What's the story here?
So I'm going to say Steve Cooks. It's actually, he's Token to me. Token has been with me for 5 years now. I met him, everybody knows Callie Mills and Dwayne Mills and the Gorilla and all that car. Well, one day I said, I need someone to help me get my rig somewhere. And I think it was to Florida.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was
And I said, I need someone to help me get it there. And so Dwayne said, well, here, give this guy a call. Been with me ever since.
Yep.
Nice.
And then I have the young kid here next to me, Bobby Saavedra. We call him Little Bobby. He's been with me for a little over 3 years now. Came to me. I used to coach his brother's football team, or actually it was my football team. But I coached from first grade all the way to 7th grade, and then handed him off to high school. But I coached his brother, and he would always come by. Great kid. His dad messaged me one day and said, hey, my son really loves racing. He goes to midnight drags all the time in Tulsa, and he'd like to come out and help on your team if you don't mind having him. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, you tell him to show up in May for the throwdown in T-Town, and you show up in May and you can, I'll give you a shot.
Yeah.
And now he works for me full time.
Oh, that's awesome. So
my
just
agreement,
started sweeping the floors and kind of work his way up.
Let me tell you what. Now, hang on a second. I said, you can go to work with me, but you're going to go to college, and I'm going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. You're going to finish your basics, get that done.
That's awesome.
I'm going to give you health care, and you got to show up to work every day at 8:30, and you go home when I tell you to go home. And he really doesn't like to go home. He is home 90% of the time. So
that's awesome.
He's been a blessing to the team, and it's us three. We lost 2 crew members this past year. Both of them. One has a son that's wrestling a lot. He was with me 9 years. Shane Goodnight, and then we had Dale Hancock. He was been with me 13 years, and his business has jumped off the hook, and he went into debt. So he decided to put his emphasis into that, and he's a dirt track racer too. So he's kind of dirt track racer,
right,
B-mod racer.
Fight somebody at any turn. ready for a fist fight.
Wait a second, no, he's been kicked out. I had to ban him from the racetrack for 2 weeks because he punched somebody through the cage, and he was hitting his helmet. So really, he was hurting his own damn hand.
and hey, his son won the championship.
Oh, his son did.
So,
in the tuner class.
Yeah.
But I don't. You know what a tuner is?
For dirt track?
Yeah.
That's cool.
4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Front wheel drive.
Yeah.
Factory.
Nice.
That's it.
I think he won
A lot
5 in a
of
row.
$400 Cavaliers.
Yep.
And they get claimed. You can claim the car for $500.
Yeah, you can buy it.
Yeah.
So if they have more than 500 into it, you
It's a
can take it from them.
USRA sanctioned deal. That's kind of cool. It's a tuner class. Now everybody, we started it. Nathan Hagar was my track manager, and he said, "Let's try this little class." And I said, "Man," he goes, "Yeah. Now the cars are worth. They were worth $400 when they started. Now they're worth $2,500, and every's running it.
Yeah.
Every track's running it now.
Well, it's hard to find a $400 car now.
You can't find anything $400.
Not anymore. Yeah, $2,500 car is like the new $400 car, which is
exactly
sad to think about. But yeah, I mean, you have dealers, you know.
Yeah, I take trades.
How involved are you in the dealerships? Like full there all the time,
Actually,
or is
no.
it kind of like?
Actually, I go to work every day. But I have a great partner that runs the group, and his name's Will Reynolds, and he's an amazing guy, and I don't really have to do a whole lot.
That's cool.
And I've never disagreed with anything he wanted to do, and nor has he disagreed with anything I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the partnership has been really, really, really good. But I've been there for 30-something years. I started at 17 years old detailing cars, and didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
All in Tulsa.
All in Tulsa.
So your whole empire, I'd call it, is all Tulsa based.
Well, it's Tulsa surrounding areas, the
Yeah.
small communities. I'm actually from Catoosa, Oklahoma, but no, when I say I came from nothing, I was in a boys' home at the age of 14, and my dad passed away while I was in there, and I decided I'm gonna do good, and I got out and never looked back.
That's awesome.
And got an opportunity with a man to give me an opportunity and believe in me, and I worked my way from a detail boy to owning them, and then buying the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one.
That's such a crazy stepping stone from, starting as detailing the cars. Did you buy the dealership you were detailing in, or did you buy
Yes.
your own? And
No, I bought the dealership. I've never
Really?
worked for another car dealership my whole life.
Huh.
I started there, and just this man believed in me. He didn't have a son or nothing. He had daughters, and his wife and her believed in me and gave me the opportunity, and I didn't look back. I wasn't going to look back,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And here I am today I got pretty much everything that I want,
You own a drag strip. I mean, what's cooler than that?
I don't know if it gets cooler than that. I mean, let's be honest.
You all think it's cool, but my back pocket doesn't. No, actually owning a racetrack in Tulsa, it's pretty badass. It is, and the dirt track, pretty badass too. I love all that. If it's got a motor. I drove a sprint car last year, scared the shit out of me. I thought I was going 90 mile an hour around the corner, and they got a video of me. I think I was doing 20.
Yeah.
Like Ricky Bobby, I'm going so fast.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there into the turns, and I'm like, but people don't realize you got a 300 or whatever, 300 and something inch motor, but you're in a 70 inch or 68 inch wheelbase. So when you hit it, that torque's like.
Well, those cars have to be going fast for the downforce to even do anything,
That's
right?
exactly
so
right.
They're not hooked up unless they're actually rolling. Like,
Right.
they have to
I
be
thought
moving.
I was flying into the corners. Nah, the video showed different.
Yeah, everybody kept going, is he going to speed up? But hey,
Trust me, they were.
Does he know it's the skinny pedal?
And you set straight up and down too. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And I got to go left. I don't like it. I like that. I like to leave it about 4 Gs and have a negative 4 Gs when I hit the chutes.
Yeah. So racetracks to me are kind of like friends with boats. like I'd rather have a friend with a boat than actually have the boat, you know. And I'm lucky enough to have friends with racetracks, so I don't actually have to own the racetrack. I just get to go use them.
I think Steve Cook's over there is kind of the same way. He can pretty much go to any racetrack and do anything he wants to do because they all know him.
Yeah, that's
Especially
how
Ford lovers.
when we were all hanging around Bradenton, that was the first time I saw you, and everybody knew you there. And I was like, oh, all right.
I guess
you were
I
hanging
didn't
around
know
with Cameron
raised.
Johnson and them guys.
Yeah,
And
I've known Cameron since the day he was born.
Really?
Literally. Yes, literally. Wow.
that's cool. Yeah, Cameron's. I knew him when he was at Profab, and it's so cool to see where he's become. You know, with CJ race cars and stuff like that. It's a cool.
Yeah,
it's
we
a
were
cool
watching
deal.
the mullet video this morning.
Yeah.
In
His
the
dad had
toter
his
home.
own chassis shop back in the day. His dad's name was David Johnson. He had his own chassis shop, and he was a big name at the time.
Yeah,
His dad was around, so that's when Cameron was born.
back when like Lakeland Dragway was like
Yes,
the big one.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it's sad to see tracks go, and that's why it's cool to see somebody that loves racing have their hand on a track, because you know tracks they're a
Well,
going extinct species in a way.
Well, I mean, and you ain't got to.
Well, I was going to say, and the one thing about Tulsa too is like I feel like it's positioned really well. Like, and I don't know if it was like city planning that way, but there's a ton of like warehouses and stuff around, which is also the backside of that problem too. Is like, oh man, this whole place is developed already. It's got all this asphalt and stuff. So Keith and I have done a great job of like bringing in the community as part of the whole program.
Yeah, and we have great sponsors, you know, that own the naming rights, like the casino, and they give a lot. But Todd and I bought it in 2011. I was a sponsor there in my store that I started in, detailing Suburban Chevrolet in Claremore. I was a sponsor out there because I loved racing, and all I had was a Nova with 454 in it, and half the time it wouldn't run. So, I don't think it was worth much more than $500. I think the motor was worth more than the car. But I loved it, and I sponsored out there, and got a phone call. They sold the property to Big APAC. If you don't know who APAC is, big concrete company. I think it's Newcastle.
Okay.
Big, huge concrete. And they never needed it for anything. They just wanted it because
They thought they might need it.
they felt maybe 100 years from now they need it.
Yeah.
So they gave us a long-term lease, and we've been there forever. Since 2011. This is 2024
5.
or 25.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Just
yeah.
crept into 25 recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
And-
keeps rolling.
But another thing is, we lead into some of the things that Mike was telling you a while ago. Was, we did an economic. We hired the United States Motorsports Association. Sean Stewart, if nobody knows it, that's who went to. Goes and does all the lobbying and everything for racetracks and racing in general. It could be a dirt track, or it could be a drag strip, or it could be missions for drag racing, and all that. Well, we hired them to do an economical impact report for the racetrack. $82 million a year. We've done it since 2011.
Every year, bringing to the Tulsa area.
To the Tulsa,
Yeah.
to the area.
Which Oklahoma, Tulsa isn't the wealthiest place in the world, so it's nice to bring.
Well, you have the PGA. If you put the PGA, the LPGA, the Bassmaster, a few of them, they bring $110 million into the community, but it's for like maybe 6 weeks out of the whole year. If you bring them all together, and the Drillers baseball team is there, we have more attendance than the baseball teams. I think we're over 500,000 people, close to 500,000 people a year, and then just in attendance, not counting race car. But it's kind of interesting to see how much money's spent in the market just in drag racing. And these guys, it's going to get even bigger this year with all the drag and drive stuff coming to Tulsa.
I was excited when I saw that economic impact study come out, because I actually read the whole thing. And
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I actually combed through the whole thing, and it was very interesting. It was a great thing that you did to, you had to spend the money and actually make that happen.
Well, we're gonna take it to the state, and we got meetings with them and try to get them to believe in it, because they give all this economical impact money to all these different institutions that come and go. We've been there. That racetrack's been there for Well,
60
this
years.
is our 60th year. This is our 60-year anniversary of
Oh, cool.
from the start of that racetrack, and in Tulsa. So, so in 60 years, we've been bringing how much money to that community, and they want to go and give this money to something else that's probably going to be gone in a year or two. Mm-hmm. So why not give it to something to help us build infrastructure and make it even better? Yeah. You know, we lease it to a bus plant. You've seen that in there. Navistar that build buses.
Yeah.
We have Amazon that does training out there, driving training.
How big of a piece of property is it then?
280 acres.
Wow, that's really big for a racetrack.
But there's like 7 or 8 that are asphalt, right? Like
It's 9 acres worth of asphalt.
Yeah, but that's even big for a racetrack. I mean, PBIR is 175 acres, and it's got multiple.
We have a dirt track and a racetrack, and you know we just had a Christmas lights show from November till January 1st.
Yeah.
And that people got to drive through, so they used the racetrack to drive through all and look at lights.
That's cool. Garrett did a similar thing at the Freedom Factory. It's such a great way to use these racetracks in the winter.
You have to think differently.
Yeah.
You know, and having the bus plant there with a contract for 5 years, and then we have Osage Casino that's they just renewed for another 3 years, and we have everybody that thinks they own it. I'm perfectly good with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter who thinks they own it.
But I think this year is going to be even bigger for Tulsa. I mean, if you take a look at the schedule, it's big. It's really big. And the drag and drive stuff is just off the chain. You know, everybody knows the surface is good. It's long. It's safe. We have all the right equipment. Mm-hmm. We know how to clean something up fast. Todd and I have worked really hard to make sure that we have the assets set in there to be able to make a racetrack run the way it needs to. And
well, location-wise too, it's very centralized to a lot of people. You know,
yeah,
like
and it's 5 minutes from the airport
and stuff, and like Texas and everybody. It's like a very central location to come for like
easy
your Midwest
to get
series.
Easy to get to. 5 minutes from the airport, or maybe it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. Shout out to Jimmy Bowles at the track.
Jimmy Bowles, that's our track manager. He
he's
really
the
put it
man.
together. I mean, we got midnight drags.
80 plus events this year will be hosted at Tulsa Raceway Park. Another 25 or 6 at the Speedway.
Oh, wow.
100 and some
Yeah,
events.
Jimmy
I think
runs
this
all
year will
that.
be that economical impact of report. I bet it's with the drag and drive stuff and all the new things. Just got announced the other day, Outlaw Armageddon.
Yeah.
Which is Big Mark and then or Mark and Chris Dingman and all them guys. They do it. They've been doing it. You know, all the Street Outlaw guys go to it. They're still committed to doing it.
Yeah.
And it's left Oklahoma City now and coming to Tulsa Raceway Park.
That's cool. That's a big media draw.
Huge media draw. Yeah. And, you know, you have Ryan Martin, Chuck, you'll have Sean, you'll have every one of the guys from Oklahoma City. That's their event. They actually help start that deal.
And it's the 10th anniversary. So, I mean, like, extra stuff, there's more classes. They have a huge small tire class will be. And
we got a lot of parking, so it makes it easy.
That's a fast race.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, it's fast.
That's a cool deal. I've always loved watching the Outlaw Armageddon races because it's just like, it's cool. Like,
they don't have to bring in stands. They don't have to do nothing. I mean, we have the facility to absolutely accommodate the racer, the fan, and the surface.
That's cool. Because to me, like, just from the sound of it, it sounds like you actually have like a strong 5-year plan for the racetrack being like better and better every year. A lot of racetracks get stagnant, and the ownership, either they've been there so long or they ain't got no money because there's so much encroachment from things and they don't do new events. They just get stagnant. It's sad to see.
It is, and we don't have a curfew.
That's
Trust
cool.
me, we've raced till 7 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, bullshit. We raced till 9 a.m. The last midnights I was at, I had to get a nap about 4 o'clock in the morning. They were down it was a no prep, so there was no prep, but it was like they were like giving those guys a break. And I was like, I'm going in this media room and I'm closing my eyes for a minute.
The last time I was, and that was Radial Revenge Tour. I don't know if y'all remember that back in the day. That's one that I started. But anyway, and it was all radial racing. And I remember Fletcher Cox told me, he says, I've never raced into the sunlight. And that Sean Ayers was driving the Gold Dust, Fletcher Cox from Philadelphia Eagles.
He's too big to drive anything.
He's too big to drive, and he was under contract at that time too. But anyways, he said that's the first time I ever had to drive into the sun. In the morning.
Or
his guy did.
That's tough. I mean, that takes like a serious dedication to racing, and your team has to be in it. Like, people don't realize these racing teams are not just like, 5 o'clock, you clock on out. Right.
Yeah.
You're good.
No, the problem was it was 100 and something degrees, and we were not racing in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So we did it, and we don't have a curfew. So, which makes it nice. Like I say, a lot of the development that's around us is Amazon and Google and Quick Trip. Walmart distribution. A lot of them are just, during the day, and they're kind of gone at 5 o'clock.
Well, some of those do like a shift, and then all of a sudden you'll see like at 2 a.m. you'll see like the car shift, and it's like, the night shift's coming in.
Yeah, but and they don't ever give us any problems. So we're I think Tulsa's there for the long haul, and it's a great facility. So
yeah, that's cool. So what do you got out here at the U.S. Street Nationals this weekend?
Let me tell you what. This is I missed the first one. We had
the Winter Series.
The Winter Series. Yeah. So Wes Buck and Victor Alvarez has created basically the Winter Series here in Bradenton, and pretty cool deal. The Snowbird's always been good. The U.S. Street's always been okay, and then of course World Series Promo has been off the hook for the last 2 or 3 years now.
It exploded almost immediately. As soon as it hit Bradenton, it exploded.
I mean, and look at all the attendance that's coming to Bradenton, and I'd like to see an economical impact report on that racetrack right now.
Yeah.
I think they would be shocked. You got the shootout, the big NHRA, what's that thing called? Pro Star deal.
Yeah.
But we came here, Wes Buck, he calls me up and says, "Hey, do you want to be invited?" And I'm like, "I can't come to the first one. I'm sorry." And he goes, "No problem." I said, "I got to be at PRI. I got to be in Race Star Wheels booth. The little junior that we have and the Black Mamba has to be in the booth." And I said, "But I'll be there, and I'll bring a little surprise." So I waited a little bit before I called him back, and I said, "Okay."
I'm sure that was eating at Wes. I'm sure he was calling you. Tell me what the surprise is.
So I texted him. I sent him a picture, and I said, "Don't you say a word yet." So a lot of people don't know it, but I bought a turbo car from a passing friend of mine, Matt Zimmerman, unexpectedly passed this past year at 53 years old. He and I talked. He was a great sponsor of the series, him and his family. And he told me his thoughts and dreams for that car, this turbo car. And I just felt like that I needed to finish it off for him.
Yeah.
So I bought the car from his partner and his father and his brother and his wife, and I promised him that I would put the car together, make it do what it's supposed to do, and fulfill the process that Matt wanted to have done. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I did. I changed the color of it. It was at Bickles after it had an incident, and it never made it back to the track until now. But I've had it 7 months, and I seen it yesterday for the first time. So I sent it to Bickle. Got done with it. It went up there. Went to Blake Halsley's place. Mm-hmm. Blake Halsley finished the rest of the car off. Had it wrapped from Kryptonite Customs. They wrapped it. Blake finished it off. Mark Mickey put his. I bought a Proline motor with Mark Mickey's setup, and Mark's tuned the car. Second, Michael Button. Everybody knows him, the wire guy, Fuel Tech in it.
Yep.
I did say Fuel Tech, didn't I? Dang it, I'm a Motec guy. Anyway, but put a Fuel Tech. Luis took care of me there.
Yeah.
And now it was trying to find someone that was going to drive it. So I thought. And the guy that I think gets the least amount of opportunities, but is probably the most best family man and person I've known for, I don't know, 20 years probably, is Sean Ellington. Everybody knows him as Murder Nova.
Yeah.
But Sean and I have been, Midnight, we've just been friends, And I called him up, him and Phantom. I said, hey, what do you think about driving a turbo car Pro Mod? He goes, what? And I said, I want you to drive this car, but it's going to go really fast. And he's like, okay, can I call you back? I said, okay. Call me back.
You had to think about it?
No, wait a second. I think he was shocked. He didn't
sit down.
trust me. No. He basically hung up with me, called his wife, Erin. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And says, I got a chance to drive a Pro Mod that's top shelf, and Phantom's over there. Can you imagine going 220? Oh, my God. Calls me back and says, I'm in.
Just like that.
And I said, okay, it's yours. Here's the deal. Mark's going to shake it down. You're going to get in it, and it's going to be really fast. And all they care about is going 220.
Yeah.
And going 350s.
That's where the mile an hour is.
If you take a look at Mark Mickey, he's number one everywhere he's been. And he won the championship against me.
That combo could absolutely win.
Well, it won the
deal.
Midwest Drag Racing Series last year, and I finished second with a nitrous car. He basically pounced on our heads all year long. But that combo is really good. So I have the exact same power plant. Everything's identical to Mark's car. And Sean's like, hell yeah. And anyway, so they get here, and obviously it's been raining. But they get here, and Mark gets in the car to make the first hit on it on Monday. And it wasn't raining on Monday. So he lets go of the button, the spark box goes out. So they come back around, and they put a new spark spot, and Mark got sick. Food poisoning or something. Mm-hmm. And so they go, what are you going to do now? And Mark said, put Sean in the damn car. So Sean goes out there. His first slide, I think, was an 020. And he went 102, 60 foot, and lifted at 200 feet because he didn't have enough tune-up in it. Mark was just trying to be conservative.
Yeah. Didn't
have enough tune-up, so started to paddle the tire. And he lifted good. He lifted real good. Car was going straight and everything. Come back up for the next time, and goes 960, 60 foot. And Mark was way too conservative again. Dropped 2 holes, 3 and 8 dropped, and you know what happens then.
Yeah, just
it shakes.
Touching into it a little bit.
But it was still at 960, 60 foot. So,
How about his reaction time?
And his reaction time was a 002. So he didn't miss nothing.
So you made the right call.
Yes.
It seems like. And, those cars aren't super different than his NPK cars. It's a big tire, wheelie bar, similar.
No, and they're tuning it. I'm sorry. Mark's tuning it, but they're crewing it. They're doing everything. I've only been over there one time. Enough to take the stick. I took the stickers to him. Yeah. Make sure that we get the stickers on the car, right?
Yeah.
And
look at it.
Like, it's a car owner.
Oh, wow. And he's like, anything you need. I gave him a push car that matches, everything. What do you want us to do? Nothing. Help me grow my YouTube channel. Yeah. Help me grow my social media. Nice. Win the race. And hell, I told him, I said, if you win the race, we'll just split the money. Yeah. It's a
good deal.
Yeah. So he's a badass driver.
Yeah.
And he's good for the sport. If you take a look at everything that's going on socially right now, Sean's killing it right now with a turbo car. He's in a Pro Mod, top shelf, going to qualify in the top part of the field if they get everything right. Not if, they will. Mark's not going to let them not. That's Mark's deal.
Well, and it's going to be interesting. We're looking at, now we got one day of qualifying. Is that what they're talking about? So you got 2 rounds. You got a guy that's let go of that button twice, going to go out there and put down 5,000 plus horsepower capable cars. It's going to be intense.
As a spectator, I'm a little excited for that, the less testing, because I think that kind of makes it a little more interesting that these guys haven't had 50 tries at the track yet. Right. It's like they're kind of going out there fresh. Some people are a little untested. Some people haven't really done anything.
Oh, you're looking at one. Yeah. I haven't been in the race car since October.
Yeah. See, it kind of makes it interesting, though.
Yeah, off the trailer, and I got a bed.
Well, and with the new setup, we'll talk about the bed in just a second. With the new setup, he went up in cubic inches from one of the last races. Yep. So, you've got what, 5 passes in the car, 10 passes in the car, maybe with the bigger
Probably 15 passes with a 998 versus a 959.
and never in this weather that you haven't been
Pat
in that
Musi,
power plant.
I've never
with
been
this,
in it. Oh,
with this kind of
shit,
weather.
This is going.
So
I hope Brandon Schweitzer's the baddest nitrous tuner in the world. So I mean, if you know Jim Hosley, he's the number one nitrous guy in the world. And I mean, ain't nobody been faster than him. And who tunes him? My tuner.
yeah.
My guy, one of my best friends for 13 years.
Here on property and all.
Yeah, he's here. And he tunes Mo Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know Mo Hall's a badass Pro
Yeah.
275 racer. I think he's kicked everybody's ass every time he goes up there. He's won the last event, didn't he?
I think he won a championship, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
I believe.
I
I'm
mean,
not
he's
sure,
just
but I
straight
think-
up badass too.
Yeah. Speaking of Pro 275, you gonna get into your trash talking last night?
Oh my God, Lyle Barnett and Yeoman thought that they
hang
had
on, let me
loose
set
lips.
the scene here.
And I may
Let me set
go
the
ahead.
scene.
Go ahead, say.
Keith calls him over, but then we were gonna do it.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
call
we were
him.
gonna
No,
do it.
Yeoman come
Yo,
over.
Yeah, Tommy came over.
We were
No,
gonna do
Yeoman
a quick
turned
interview with
around.
Lyle, and then Yeoman turns around, and it was over.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. I called. I was just talking to Barnett. We were just talking,
Yep.
and then Yeoman turns around and goes, "Hey, you want to lose that money that you lost to me last time?" And I went, "Oh," and I've been drinking at that time, and I was like, "Okay." I'm in. So with Trash started talking. Now, next thing you know, we're betting. We got 2,000 off the trailer. Nobody's had a hit at the track. They haven't, and I haven't either. And it's and then Lyle and I's got $100 increments all the way to the finish line. So
Weird to hear Lyle getting all hot-headed and betting. That doesn't sound like Lyle at all.
Not at all.
It was a great time. That video's on YouTube, by the way.
No, it is on YouTube,
On the
yeah.
Keith Haney Racing
and
channel. if anybody's
it's off the
listening.
hook.
Yeah.
Link is in the description, of course. Everything you guys want in the description, all those links will always be in there.
Yeah.
But so you and Lyle start talking, and part of I would say the genius of it all is to get you guys all together at a bar, West Bucks deal, and get you guys start hot-headed and talking and drinking, and then these side bets really erupt.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. And Wes instigated some of it.
He does that.
Yeah, he came right over. He was like, done. Lock it. Lock it in.
None of his money. He's just like, lock it in.
Lock it in. Is it locked?
Yeah,
Are
oh,
we
yeah.
locked? I'm like, yeah, we're locked.
Okay.
Yeah. We had to put the parental advisory up on the video we put on YouTube today. We had to put the parental advisory because there was a whole lot of F-bombs and a whole lot of shit talking going on.
So Lyle's obviously driving a Pro Mod as well.
He's driving Yeoman's Pro Mod.
Okay, and then your Pro Mod, the Black Mamba, right?
I have the Black Mamba that I'm driving, which is a nitrous car, and then we
You
have
haven't driven since October, so you're
Right.
a little.
it's like riding a bike.
Lyle's also driving a Pro 275.
Right, and
Yeah.
Lyle's
Well,
right.
also Yeoman
And then we have
And an X275 car.
Probably.
I think he's driving 3 deals.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
LD
and,
like Lyle.
and then you have Sean driving the Blue. The car name is Blue,
Yeah, it's very blue.
very blue, and it's the best photo at night car probably. I don't know if you've seen the night picture of it, but it's pretty freaking amazing.
I might have. I'd probably remember. If
It
I
looks
saw
like it's glowing.
Yeah.
That color is.
Shout out to Straight Line Media. They got that shot. Like, man, great stuff.
Oh, they
Monday night.
did, yeah. NC Pro Modder did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's done a really good job help promoting this. And, that's what it's all about. Us racers, we're not doing it for a living.
Mm-hmm.
We're up here wasting our money. We're just wasting it. Every time you're going down the track, all you see is $100 bills coming out the game exhaust. For as long as it runs.
Yeah,
And that's a whole lot of hundreds.
and that's if it stays together.
That's right.
Then
That's
it starts
right.
to cost thousands the second you see some smoke start to come out of it.
But like you said, you want to get these guys together. You want to get them trash talk. You want to get them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit. And I've always been that way from the radio when I showed up for the first time in 2015, and nobody even knew who I was. And I put my name on the side of the car, and I went radio racing. Never been in a radio car in my life. And Donald and everybody said, "You ain't never going to qualify."
That's right.
I went number 1 the first night. And then the next pass, I hit the fucking wall. We worked on it for 2. We worked on it. We got the car back together. Then they put a bounty on my head.
Donald did.
No, I guess the guys, everybody up there betting, they just they said, anybody that takes his smart math ass out,
We'll pay you.
We'll pay you. I think it got up to $5,000. And I went all the way to the semis and lost to Daniel Ferris on a hole shot.
So what was the story on the radio car then? So
So
What
I
was
showed,
your racing before that, and then you got into this radial car that was going how fast,
So-
and you were just like, all right.
No, so that radio car is what made me. It's the truth. And I hate to say that, but it was. I was racing pro mod. Nobody really knew who I was. Eric Enders drove for me. I kind of told the story the other night on another show that I was on. And Erica drove for me, and I had 2 pro mods. And she drove one, I drove one, and then she went on to get back into pro stock after her. She went to Elite Motorsports, where she's still at now, and she went on to drive. And I'm sitting there one day, and I said, I'm watching all Donald Long stuff, and I'm looking at all this radial stuff. I said, so I called up Larry Jeffers, Race Cars. I said, you gotta. I want to build a radial car. I already had Notorious. I don't know if you knew that. I named my cars. All my cars get named.
They got to have some kind of
And
flash.
Notorious came from Notorious Big, so everybody knows that. And then Enigma comes from Sign of Power. You know, if you go and pull it up and read about it, it's called Sign of Power, and on the side it said Top Secret. So I said, I want to build this radial car, and he says, okay. I said, but you cannot tell anyone. So we get the car all done 2 weeks before the event. I then announce, and next thing you know, Donald Logg found a new guy to talk as much shit as him.
Yes, right.
And they wrote a song about me. It's on there, Keith Haney. I can't remember. It's on YouTube. It's funnier than hell. They made a song about me. They put me on, I am short. They put me on platform shoes. They put me in pink outfits. I can tell you we had it was this guy showing up, he ain't gonna do shit. And bam, I slapped their asses. And then I had the Pickett brothers. You know who that is? Trick My Truck.
Oh.
Both guys were there helping us for that race. So we had, which is Brandon Schweitzer's, one of his best friends are Kevin and the Pickett brothers, Rod and Kevin. Anyway, they were there when we did it. That's how we got the car fixed. I mean, after I went number 1 the first night, our first qualifier. Second one, I hit the wall. The Pickett brothers got into it. I mean, if they can trick a truck, a big old semi, they can trick fix a car.
Yeah,
they're banging, cutting. They duct taped me in the door. I had to get out on the passenger side the whole race. I mean, duct taped the whole side. CFM, which I think is still in business around here, isn't they? CFM, the carbon guys. I don't know. They were there. They were in there working.
How fast was this thing going? Duct taped you in there?
I went 370, and the fastest anybody had been at the time was a 380. Sorry, it was 380. 380. Nobody had been faster than 390. I went 389.8. Mills went 389.6, and McAuliffe went 389.3.
Okay.
That was the absolute fastest
And
radio
was this
fastest.
RVW at the time?
RVW at the time. Nobody had been faster than that at that time.
Okay.
And for me to come out and bust the record off the trailer, and nobody even knew. Nobody knew who I was.
In a nitrous car.
In a nitrous car on top, and
On that little tires.
yeah, but that's what made my. That's kind of my name, and I mean, if I walk through PRI or if I'm walking through the pits, they go, "I don't know your name," or "You know my name."
Yeah.
It's a good marketing tool.
The
and
origin story of it.
There was a story behind it because Stevie Fast is the one that said I didn't have a hair on my ball sack if I didn't put that on the side of my car, and I did. It's been good ever since. So now I got the Black Mamba. I built a new car for that. I won the championship in 2023, runner-up this year. We've really been doing real good since 2022, middle of 2022. Up until now, we've really done really well. I'm looking for that 50 pass in the Black Mamba. And this weekend, the air shows that I can get there. We just need the track to come around and be there for us. That's and us go 50s and prove that a Pat Musi racing engine can freaking
run the number.
And
do you get any slack for winning your own race series?
Oh, yeah. They think I write the rules and everything's around me and all that shit.
And that's the furthest.
And guess what? I'm still not the fastest car in my series.
Yeah.
I still am. I am the third fastest car, right? Third or fourth. Fastest car that's been down the racetrack by the combos. Right. So, but you take a look at the deal this weekend here in Bradenton. It's pretty freaking awesome. You got it. my goal was in the Midwest Drag Racing Series was all cars need to run together like they used to. Back in the day, you didn't have break up this class because, oh, I'm sorry, I can't compete. Let me give you some money and we'll create a new class. And that's how all these classes, you look at Radial versus Rural, now became Pro 275. Mm-hmm. You know,
Because none of them wanted to go that fast. They're like, oh, yeah.
Now Pro 275 is going as fast as Radial versus the World does back in the day.
Yeah.
Ultra Street's going as fast as like X275 was going a few years ago.
So I'm just saying everything's just evolving, and eventually you get to a point where and what we drive, sometimes it's too fast.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Todd Moyer in that turbo car, and he goes that quarter-mile pass, and I think he has the record.
He does.
And absolutely caved the car in, broke shit.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't supposed to go. How many miles? What was the mile an hour?
279.
279 mile an hour. Caving in the windshield, broke the doors.
Broke the X in the floor.
Broke the X in the floor. I mean, we're talking lives.
No, it's scary watching that pass. I was like, kind of not looking
that
at him.
windshield just like.
I mean, I couldn't believe it, but
Carl Stevens is a bad man.
he is a bad man, Carl, and he runs Motec.
That's right. 100% Motec.
You Motec guys are wild, man.
My Motec is actually a Schweitzer Motec. It's nitrous. It's the only place to get it if you want it.
My dream is to have a business where everybody pays full price for it and brags about it constantly.
That's right.
Because that's how Motec is. Ain't
That's
nobody's
right.
getting a deal, but they're all bragging about it.
Absolutely. They don't.
There must be something to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. And, you know, I was watching, what's his name, out with their new Motec turbo car, too. And
Eric LaFerrier.
yeah.
Yeah, very.
And another Pro Mod car, Motec.
Right.
And
There's an XRE combo.
There's only a few that are switching to Motec in Pro Mod, it seems like, which is interesting to see.
Well, I think what everybody's seeing now, I've been talking to, who was it? I was talking to Wes, but just a while ago. He was over at the trailer visiting with me. He said, Keith, they can't build race cars fast enough right now for Pro Mod.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's people waiting to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a Pro Mod for sale and it's a good one,
It's gone.
it's gone.
Yep.
But if it's nobody wants a 63 Corvette. I don't mean nothing bad about it, but they just aerodynamics doesn't allow it to be fast.
Yeah. It's like
Not
the
saying
fifth and
Scotty
sixth
Palmer,
gen
not-
Camaro.
Or Willys. Not good.
Or a Willie, a Willys is not fast. You got to have the aero, and that's why you see the pro stock driving. They're driving Mustangs or they're driving
Camaros.
And if you look at funny car, it's all aerodynamics. Everything's aerodynamics, and you hate it, but the 60 you get to see 1,068s, 1,069s.
So here's the question then: like, how do you make that car? How do you make Blake Housley's car? How's that car be competitive? Does he get a weight break?
Actually, they do get a weight break, but Blake got
For the
changed.
vintage
Nobody
car?
knows this right now, but Blake changed cars.
That's right.
Oh, really?
He bought the Servos stuff. So now he's
I
got
knew
a
I
real
liked
car.
Blake.
So, I mean, he knew that he had to get out of the Willys because you can't drive them. Hey, you can't see past the pillar. Have you ever been in a Willys?
No.
Oh, it's the most uncomfortable. You're like this, and the pillar's that freaking big. Windshield's only as big as your eyeballs.
But man, they look so badass.
They do. They do.
Yeah,
I
like
know.
Scott's car. I mean, that thing is so cool. Like
It is.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
Whether it's competitive or not, it's cool.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
And,
it's
right.
and I think that drives a lot for Scott Palmer too, because he's that guy. Like he wants to have something different. He wants to ram it down everybody's throat that he can, and he's fast, man.
You better watch it. He's got a 63 Corvette,
Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
But he had two of the baddest tuners in his trailer yesterday
That's
working
right.
on his stuff. He had Billy Stockland and Jeff Pierce.
Yeah.
Both of them in his and
Jeff's a hot commodity after last
is.
race.
That's for sure.
Not that he was never a good tuner, but his name
yeah.
was stamped on the map pretty heavily after that
what
one.
Kai?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't take nothing. Preston Tanner, and he tunes him. He tunes
And Tommy Franklin.
the Franklins. He tuned. I mean, he's a good tuner.
But what they did with Kai's car was, I mean, it was historic.
It was.
Oh, yeah,
But I can tell you a little bit of story on that car too.
It's more than we think it is.
Yeah.
I can just tell you it was a Mustang before.
That's right.
And it was wrecked at US
131.
at Martin, Michigan at US 131. Jason Pierce and Samuel up there, but it was wrecked there, and that body that's on it. So that car was a Pro Mod
Originally.
originally.
Yeah.
So don't kid yourself. I'm not taking anything
No,
away.
you can-
I don't know what the wheelbase is, and none of my business. But
I mean, they say it's factory.
as they say, it's
wheelbase.
103.
It did have headlights. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's got all the. I mean,
I think
Jeff
he shortened it.
Holloway put the body on it.
Yeah.
Holloway fixed it. Jeff Holloway,
Another bad man.
and he is a bad man.
Yeah.
He's been doing it a long time.
There are so many good people in this sport. It's awesome.
Trust me, if you go to the Drag and Drive show and you break something, you're going to see Jeff Holloway at Tulsa.
He can fix
That's
it.
a guy that's going to fix it.
Yeah.
That's the guy they're going to call and say, "Hey, can you come fix this guy's chassis?" Yeah, sure. I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah. And that's going to happen. We're going to break some shit. It's a guarantee.
Yeah, hey,
I guarantee
the
you.
racing's not the hard part in drag and drive.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm
it's the
gearing
street
up
drives.
for it. I'm like stretching my back out a little bit. I'm like, the racing's easy. I can do that. You know, that's like a couple seconds and it's over.
I'm afraid I'd put on like 500 pounds if I did Drag and Drive stuff.
It depends on
These
Because
guys
they're gonna
do not
wanna
Do you
eat
nervous
enough.
eat or do you nervous not eat?
Oh,
If I'm in a car, I
they
wanna
don't
eat.
eat enough, man. I'm like, I'm dying over there. I'm starving. They don't have breakfast till is at 11 a.m. I'm like, you guys, y'all, I'm gonna have to fend for myself tomorrow for sure.
Right.
I really do appreciate y'all having us on the show. It's nice to be on some of these things that I haven't had an opportunity in a while to be able to do. You know, I've been secluded to some things that has kept me kind of out of the limelight.
right.
I
And,
love hearing those stories, man. I'm glad you guys made it over. What is new and coming for the track that people can be excited about? I know funny car stuff and
Funny Car Chaos is coming
For the first time ever.
For the first time ever.
Yep.
That's
That's gonna be huge.
That's going to be the biggest, probably one of the biggest deals that hit
Yeah.
Tulsa. And
it's what's going to kick off our 60th anniversary.
It's
kind
the
of
first race of the year.
Big celebration.
and
all
then
that kind of stuff.
and then you have the throwdown right behind it in May. I mean, and then you start all the midnights and
Yeah, so last year, 27,000 people showed up for Throwdown in T-Town in May. So we host 2 a year with Funny Car Chaos and the Throwdown. It's going to be, I mean, Tulsa, if you haven't booked a room and you're listening to this, you need to do it now if you're coming. It's going to be crazy. I mean,
I was just thinking about saying if you haven't experienced a funny car
yeah.
and like in the stands of a funny car going down the track, you really haven't you can't really like give an example of how that feels because it's different.
the one thing about it, it's not the John Forces and that little crew. These are regular everyday guys.
Yeah.
That are from, most of them are probably from the early 70s, 60s, 50s, something. But they're running nitro.
They just want to burn the nitro.
Well,
I mean, they don't care about nothing else but burn your eyeballs.
Hey, listen, there's a VIP area where people can sit, and we won't get into selling tickets, but like you can be from here to right there to a funny car. I mean, the 8 feet between me and Keith.
pound your
you can be that
pound your
close.
chest down. I mean, if you haven't been to and seen one of those races, and you're missing out. You just have to go. Everybody has to go.
I heard them from my house when they were running the Pro Superstar Shootout. I heard them from here. I could hear the blip, and then you don't hear gear changes or anything because they
Right.
just kind of like drive through the trans, and you could hear them from here.
Yeah, you had 18,000 or 16. Let's see, 16,000 horsepower at one hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you're miles away from the track.
miles.
Oh yeah.
16,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
It sounds like my stereo system they just put in my damn semi. I don't know what the hell. Who put that in? Somebody here.
Pirates Customs in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, in Tampa. He goes, "Come here." My freaking ears are pounding out. I'm like, where'd the back of these seat go? Oh, it's all full of subs.
Yeah.
So what's your personal racing plan then for this year?
I'm going to run, obviously, these 2 races here. You got you got this race, a U.S. Street, then you have a World Series Pro Mod, and then you've got Midwest starts up. I get a month off. Midwest will start up in April, and I'll run it up until June. Then I take a break and go get on a boat, go on a family vacation.
Okay.
And we come back in September, and start back in September. And we finish off in October, and we go to PRI, and we start it all over again.
Something tells me your downtime, you don't really sit around too much and just relax. You seem like you go
I'm a little...
being pulled in a lot of
The
directions.
monster might be helping a little bit, but no, I'm pulling a million different directions. Bobby Bobby sees it more than probably anybody. He's, like I say, with me pretty much all the time, except for when I go to work. But he sees nobody really realizes how much I get beat on. And it's not really beat on. It's just, you got a racer that has a question. I answer it. I own the series, but they don't want to talk to anyone else. They want to, Keith, so I get a text message at 3 o'clock, one at 5 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock. I have the dealerships. I have.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The reason that happens is because for the first 5 or 6 years, or the first 2 or 3 years for sure, it was you and Jimmy running all that.
Yeah, and then, we brought Michael Narks. We brought him on full time. He works for the Speedway and the racetrack and Midwest. I gave him an opportunity to be able to do his drag and drive stuff, but he also doesn't have to go to work every day.
Yeah.
But I think he's found out that this is more work than him going to that body shop every day.
Oh, 100%.
But it's because he's got to do things for the dirt track. He's got to do things for the racetrack. He's got to do things for Midwest Drag Racing Series. He's taking care of Keith Haney Racing, and then he's got to do his drag, drive, and repeat. Yeah. So I put a lot on him, but I think he's enjoying it. He's learned a lot with. I've taught him a lot, and he's taught me a lot. I handled all the internet, or I handled all the Facebook. I handled all the websites. I handled everything. He'll get a message from me, hey, you need to change that and make sure you tag that by. And he's like, oh, God, I miss that guy. And I'm like, I don't miss my sponsors.
Yeah.
Just like you don't miss your sponsors. You got people that help sponsor the show, I'm sure. You got some great marketing partners, is what I call them. They're not sponsors, they're marketing partners. And I make sure that they get what they pay for. And I always made the commitment, I'm going to undercharge you but over-deliver. And I've been known for that.
I mean, it shows with all of your businesses. I'm sure that's across the board, dealerships and everything.
If you come to my dealership and you buy a car and you're not happy, you can bring that damn car back. Mm-hmm. We're not that dealership that says, oh, no, you're stuck. We're that dealership that says you bring the car back. You're not happy? Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to go to Google. You're going to give me bad reviews. You're going to go on Facebook. You're going to beat me up there. Then you're going to go over to Twitter, or X or whatever it is now. Then you're going to go over to TikTok, and then you're going to go to, I don't even think TikTok's legal anymore, but you're going to go do all this stuff to me anyway, and then I'm going to lose 5 or 6 customers. It ain't worth it.
So what's your relationship with Pat Musi? Because it seems like you guys have a pretty close deal.
I'm going to tell you something about Pat. Pat has become one of my closest friends.
Really?
Him and Liz, I've spent a lot of time with them in the last. Went and spent Thanksgiving with them. Went and spent Christmas right after Christmas with them.
Where's he based out of?
He's based out of Mooresville, where the racetrack is. Yep. There's a racetrack in Mooresville. And you got KB Titans there. You've got Robert
Hayes
race cars. You got the guy that does all the restoration stuff. I mean, it's all in the, he's in that complex. And Mooresville is basically nothing but drag racing, NASCAR stuff. But Pat's an amazing man, a good person, good friend. And I always thought he would be overpriced. And where I was at before, and I'll go over here, and the motors don't break down as much. And of course, that has a lot to do with the tuner.
That's right.
But his customer service is probably the best, and what a great guy to be around. I mean, he's done everything. There's nothing he hasn't done.
The name alone is so cool in drag racing. Like when you think of big cubic inch motors, it's like you think Musi.
That you can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, it's like that's
I'm not taking anything away from Fulton because they hold the record for now, but Bucks, retired. You don't really have a whole lot of nitrous guys left, and Brandon Schweitzer, that's all they do is nitrous.
Yeah. Nitrous
is, everybody thinks you can eat all the other combos, and at the end of the day, I'm just as fast as everybody else. So.
With big flames coming out the side.
So much prettier, so much cooler.
So cool.
You see every kick come on.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, I'm a turbo guy, and if turbos could purge nitrous, it would be cake, man. But they can't.
I like other people being nitrous guys. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I'll happily watch it and I enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I'll salute you like because you're doing it, and I don't want to be doing it.
The good thing about having a good tuner is they know where that stopping point is, and Brandon just will not. No matter what I say, I'm like, burn it to the ground. I don't care. I want to win this. He won't do it.
He's like, yep, sure.
Yeah,
No problem.
He's going to give the tune that he feels like it can take without
Hurting it.
hurting it. And that's why, we're a 4-person team now
Really, that's
instead
it.
of 6.
Just 4 people.
Yeah, it'd be
running that pro mod.
me, which I don't do anything. They basically say you can write the checks, you can let go of the button.
And write the checks.
That's it, and write the checks.
They don't even let you
blow
back
the
to shoot.
Huh?
We do that.
And clean the tools, but not while we're freaking using them. Not while we're using them,
And he
because
packs
I'm
the
that
chutes.
guy.
He packs his own shoots.
I do pack my own shoots.
I remember the first time I saw Fletcher Cox working on his race car, and he's there sweeping up after the guys, and I was like, "Oh heck yeah, man!" Like
That's how you're supposed to
awesome.
be. I mean, he
I had so much respect for just because he could be sitting in the trailer,
That's
somebody
right.
else could be sweeping up, but he was like leaf blowing, sweeping
right.
up,
Oh, that's
cleaning
me.
the car. I was
I'm the
like,
most
that's
clean
this
freak.
guy.
I am the cleanest freak in the world. I am the guy that has the leaf blower. I have that leaf blower out all the time.
Yeah, burned a big battery up yesterday.
I burned 2
Tuesday.
batteries up yesterday.
Yeah.
It was pretty wet yesterday, so you need to.
No, I just don't like it. I don't like
grass.
grass in my damn. No, I'm that guy that keeps everything. Our stuff and why I got to give a lot of credit to these 2 guys sitting here that drive the rig everywhere, is they treat it the way I treat it.
Yeah.
And when you come from nothing, you appreciate everything that you got. And I've never forgotten where I come from, and I won't forget where I come from. And I'm that guy that's going to take care of it. And when they buy something from me, I promise you,
It's been pampered.
it's been pampered the whole time.
Yep. That's a fact.
So you know him well. I know that there's some legendary stories here. What should we?
Oh man!
What should we
Listen,
extract?
The other night it was the Scott Palmer and Keith Haney show on the Shake and Bake, and
Stevie Fast.
yeah, well, he was there. Yeah, he was there. But I think he was he was
in
a
the room.
spectator. Yeah, at that point, the stories that started kind of when that was rolling. Man, you were talking about early times like midnight drags, all the street race stuff. Scotty coming over and racing with you guys there. I mean, I want to hear some of that stuff because like just as they were getting rolling, it was like the internet was just like it wouldn't handle it.
Well, it's I had told it on the show the other night. Scott Palmer, I met him through a 50-year marketing partner at Tulsa Raceway Park. It's Grand Prix Auto Parts Center in Tulsa. John Brooks is his name. And he said, "Hey, I got this guy." He said, "If you'll buy him a drum of fuel," and this was the IHRA days when they were running top fuel. And he goes, "If you'll buy him a drum of fuel, he'll put your dealership on the side of the car." I said, "Hell yeah. How much is a drum of fuel?" $1,400. I went, "What?"
$2 a gallon, no problem.
You got to think about it, though. We're talking 2000, maybe 7? Or 8, 2007 or 2008, I think may have been the winner. So that's a lot of money. It ain't nothing now,
Yeah.
But I said, absolutely, let's do it. So they put Suburban Chevrolet on the side of the car, and I can go on with stories of Scotty from there.
That's
but-
what we want to hear.
Yeah,
That's what we want to hear.
Pits and you hang out with them.
No, we
That's part of it, right?
Scotty's at the finish line when I get out of my Top Sportsman car because I was Top Sportsman racing, and Scotty then brings his margarita machine. Has anybody seen it?
Nope.
He has a Top Fuel margarita machine,
Yep.
and we starting that some bitch up. We've had plenty of drinks on the we have a stage at the track, and we've done some crazy stuff.
I've seen 2 Top Fuel margarita machines in my whole life. One of them was his, I think, in one of the races, and then the other one was in Australia. And they had one there.
I
too.
think Warsham has one too.
I know Craig Sullivan used to have one. I don't know if he still does or not.
No, I don't. He never had a Top Fuel one.
Oh, maybe not.
His was like a little blower one, I think.
Possibly. Quite possibly.
We're talking
blower.
about Top Fuel. We're talking. I mean, there was one story where Scotty told the other night where this guy comes up and says, "Hey, we're trying to sleep over here. You can't start that thing." He goes, "What do you mean can't start this thing?" He goes, "You can't start it. I'm gonna go call the owner." Guess who was holding the starter? Todd Martin, the owner. He says, "Nah, we're starting it." So, man, it just like the Erica Enders, you know, she had lost her ride with Kaz, or not really lost her sponsor with Kaz Naski, and I just said one day, I said, "I'm gonna message her on Facebook." I said, "Would you like to drive a Pro Mod?" She'd never been in one, and she goes, "Yeah." I said, "All right." So they met me in Memphis, ADRL 2012. Had Lizzie Musi there, her, Angela, the motorcycle lady.
Savoy, Sealing, Savoy.
Savoy.
She's had several last names.
So anyway, we had, it was a legendary race, you know, had all the women, we call it women of power is what I kind of call the girls.
Yeah.
And they were taking pictures in the pit, and I think it was in the cover, or it was in the magazine of the Drag Illustrated, if you go, those three together at Memphis. But Erica's drove for me, you know, and she did good. And then she went on, like I said, to
The
Richard
guys at
Freeman.
Elite took her away.
Yeah, then Elite. And then I've had Daddy Dave.
Those guys.
Daddy Dave drove for me.
I didn't mean to say that out loud. Sorry.
Dave Comstock's drove for me too. He drove Enigma at Texas Motorplex during a Midwest
Daddy
race.
Dave, right?
Yeah, yep.
People that more know him as Daddy Dave.
Yeah. And then now Sean. Clay Milliken. I had a sponsorship with Clay Milliken back 15 years ago. I shared it the other day on Facebook. I went back and looking through some of my memories, and
That's cool.
I was like, "Holy crap!" I gave him a vehicle to drive, and he'll put a Midwest sticker on the side of his car. I mean, Clay's good people.
Clay is all about it. I was on the phone with him the
man.
other day helping him make a thumbnail for his YouTube channel, and
He's awesome.
there's
man.
few people in this world that I get excited to help with something, because just Clay is such a good guy.
He's
you know?
real.
Yeah,
He's real. He's a
Dude,
Scott
never
Palmer.
smiles. Drag racing.
I'm sorry.
Never smiles.
Yeah, never smiles. You never see Clay.
Yeah, but he's a Scott Palmer. He's the underdog. He's the guy that everybody counts him out and always seems to come up and slap him in the head. Mm-hmm. But I seen him calling Stevie out the other night. So Stevie goes, "They called me out. I ain't even got mine built yet. He calling me out." But
Stevie's got to fix his car after the tree incident.
oh yeah, and that was the other deal. I
watched that happen too. I was standing right there, and I see him doing the burnout, and I'm like, man, he's really riding that thing out. And like, it was the second burnout, so he did one. Tires were a little warm, then it hooked up, and I was like,
Oh, I got a story on that one. If you go look, there's a meme about me with Donald Long where I hit the Christmas tree. Water got underneath my tire. It wasn't because of my burnout, but water got underneath one of my tires, and I hit the Christmas tree, and he made a joke of that one.
Donald's good for doing that.
he's got a unique marketing style.
Yeah, he said, that's what he said. He's going to come here, and he's going to tear down our tree, and we're not going to be able to race.
Weren't you selling that car at the time?
Huh?
Weren't you selling that
Oh,
car?
yeah, I had the guys from Canada. I sold the car, and then when I wrecked it, I still sold the car. To
You
the
are
same
a true
guy.
car dealer.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it.
It went up in price
And
after
guess what?
two.
And guess what? It's still racing over in Canada.
Yeah, look at how famous this is.
Yeah, now it's known. Donald will be talked about for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's right. But I've done a whole lot, so it's.
Well, tell us some more stories. That's what we want to
What do
hear.
you prefer, the radial, the slick tire? What
Man,
races do you like?
I don't. In all true reality, I like letting go of a button and feeling the G-force. And my life is very, very stressful with everything that I have moving parts, investments to, the things that make me what I am, where I got to where I am today.
Yeah.
So I have a whole lot on my plate. But when I get in that car, these guys start joking on the mic, and you don't want to hear what's getting said. And I may call them over, and they may smell something if I open the door, or there's all kinds of shit that happens.
Oh, yeah.
But it takes my mind off all those things that make me not sleep sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Then, hey, why not race like a 10-second car? You'd be in there longer.
I would be
Well, he wants
bored.
to let off the button.
Just so you know, I'd be like, is this ever going to end?
It would add stress. You're like thinking
Yeah,
about all
I'm
that
like,
stuff by the
shit.
end of the trip.
I'm going on a Sunday drive. I'm going from 360s to 10 something. Nah, I ain't hadn't. But I like drag racing, so it doesn't really matter. So, but being in that race car is probably the most exciting thing. And then the preparation is the other part. I'll say it today, and it happened in 2022. Built a big shop, finally got it all together, and I said, boys, we're going to do it right this time. And I had a shop before, but it was always 30, 45 minutes away, and half the time the guys couldn't get there at the same time and all that. And I said, if I ever build me a house, I'm going to build me, if I ever build a new house, I'm going to build me a damn shop. So I can go out there and work on the car if I want to.
Yeah.
And when I got it, we built a shop, bought a new truck and trailer. I'd had a truck and trailer for 15 years. I had my same truck and trailer. Sold it for what I gave for it. In 2020, COVID.
Used car
Love
sales?
COVID.
Used car sales. Man.
COVID was good to me. So I buy a new truck and trailer, and we design it exactly the way we want it, and we stock it the way we want it, and we know where everything's at, and I said, we're going to do it right. And I said, races are won at the shop. They're not won at the racetrack. I said, the preparation is what makes it matter when it comes to racing. Just like I walked in and seen your car. You're going to be working on it because guess what? You're going to be driving it down the road. So the race is going to be won right here. And that's how I feel about a race team. Don't go to the racetrack and think you're going to do all the work. You know, because the problem is that's what happens that's when things happen. Everybody gets in a rush and, oh shit, did we do that? Did we do that? We have a bulletin board when we change a part, or Brandon has a spreadsheet that says, okay, drive shaft's got this many runs on it. It's got to go. It's going to break.
Yeah.
We know it's going to break. We kind of got an idea when it's going to break. Rear gear's starting to make a little noise. Change it. Transmission's got this many runs on it. Let's just go through it.
Yep.
We got this many passes on the motor, but it's leaking good. We're not going to touch it. Or I don't like that hole. Let's pull it apart. I mean, the preparation is where it all matters. And I also am fortunate enough to be able to afford that I don't put any used parts back in my car. Now, not everybody can do that. And I'm not taking that away from anybody. But I just feel like I'm going to put a new part in. I'm not going to put a used one back in it. And it may only have...
They may have 5 runs and put new ones
on a
in.
piston. But what now? We
At that level, it's
well, a lot of people like
goes to the
rods.
used market.
Right, rods. Most of them run them 45 runs. 25 passes are gone. I don't know. We just don't know where that fatigue point is.
We
yeah.
don't want to find out the hard way.
And we don't want to find out the hard way because guess what? I have done the math. And again, I'm a businessman, so I've done the math. You blow up a motor versus what it costs to just change the parts out, it's less.
Yeah.
Just change it.
But you don't see it that way. They're like, we can get 4 more runs in that thing. Bam! Oh shit! Now I got to spend the time. Got to pay the freight.
Yep.
Got to listen to the bullshit that the parts aren't in.
Yeah.
So we stocked our whole rig before we came to this race for the year.
So there's a lot of pistons and rods in that thing.
I have everything I need to run.
Trans and
I have everything I need to run the whole year.
We don't have to go back home.
We don't even have to go home. We could stay on the road.
yeah.
I have everything in that trailer to do it all. But I've been blessed, and I'll say it today. I'm blessed because I come from nothing. And
That's awesome.
I
mean, racers truly hate money. That's a lot of how it sounds.
Oh, I know.
I'm sure a lot of people are just like,
Some more than others.
and then you were like, spending all this on one car is cool, but spending it all on 2 cars, man, that sounds cool.
yeah,
But the turbo car should be lighter on parts.
yeah,
a little bit.
It'll be fine. I just, I really at the end of the day, I love motors. I love cars. I love the camaraderie. I love to talk to shit.
Can't take it with you, right?
Yeah, and I'll take it and give it, and I may lose the lotto tomorrow, but guess what? I'll still be trying to bet him again right after. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
Then you put Murder Nova against him. You can
Oh
use
yeah,
your
I
other
didn't think
teammate
about
as
that.
some
Yeah,
side bets.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
All right.
Run it back, but race him. Right.
Lyle Barnett, I'll be calling you shortly.
Yeah. So then you were racing radial stuff, and then what kind of kept you in Pro Mod? Because there's a lot of good radial racing, and you started a Pro Mod series instead of more of radial series and racing radial.
No,
cars.
I had radial.
You have radial there too, but
But it changed. The cars got faster and needed more track prep, and you just couldn't sustain a Pro Mod and a radial car together, and it doesn't really work. It's so tight on a Pro Mod car that it just basically buries your tire, you know. And with the radial prep that goes, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from radial and Pro Mod running together, but I promise you the guys that are running big tire don't want to be on no damn radial track. And I enjoyed the radial racing. I did. I loved it. I loved it. I love this. There's a lot more shit talking over there too. These guys in the Pro Mod world are more businessmen and laid back, and I can't get them to come out of their shell, you know. And
they're all cordial with each other. They're all friends.
yeah, you know, they come out like, oh, okay, thanks, man. Appreciate that run. Yeah, I didn't mean to be. I just is okay. Ricky Bobby, where'd my hands go? That kind of guy, right? And that's not me. I'm like, I busted your ass. Or, damn, you got me. That's me.
Well, the radial world is like guys that were kind of like outlawed, no-time racers, no prep, and then they kind of ventured into there. But like a Pro Mod is almost like a different level of person. Because
Gentlemen's racing.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
We're trying to change that, though.
It's changing. I can. The winds of change are there.
Yeah, the Pro Mod is. If you look at what's going on right now, Pro Mod is and believe it or not, drag and drive stuff has totally shocked me too.
Well, those are Pro Mods also. They just have VIN numbers.
Tom
Bailey has a Pro Mod.
Okay, with a fake VIN number that he got off of at the junkyard.
Well,
The
probably
used
a
car
kit
guy
car.
sold it to him.
Maybe I did sell that damn plate. Maybe
This
I
here is
didn't.
a '69 Camaro. What do you mean?
But you know, it's just cool. Pro Mod for some reason I just love the G-force and the negative G-force. Not that radial wasn't that way, but radial does it different. It goes up, not down and back. I mean, a radial tire, your suspension separates. In a Pro Mod, it goes down. So when it leaves, even though 60 foots may be the same, it's weird.
Yeah, it's throwing you backwards onto the bars.
Right. It's just a different feeling, and I just all my friends are in Pro Mod, and you know, we have 2 big throwdown races a year at Tulsa that are always packed and great fans, and I mean they ain't gonna come for. Not many of them come for a radial race at Tulsa. But they will come for a big Pro Mod race. They love they don't care about how fast you go. They just want to know who wins. And they know in Tulsa, most of those guys, that Midwest group, a lot of them will trash talk. Mm-hmm. I mean, but they'll also help you too. Mm-hmm. You could need something. I mean, I can remember in Tulsa last year, I'm over in everybody's like pissed off because Mark Mickey's #1 and went 50, whatever it was that he went, blew up the motor. Guess who was over there helping change the motor and get flywheel bolts out and do everything? Me and Steve.
Yep.
After he beat you.
Yeah, I didn't care. At the end of the day,
That's drag racing, man.
I mean that's kind of what you do. But a lot of people don't get to see the people that are out here that are watching or listening in. The only thing that No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws did was you got to see it.
Right.
You got to actually see what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, you were in the pits.
You were in the pits.
Right.
And the problem with drag racing today is you don't get that action.
Yeah.
You don't get that, hey, me and Lyle Barnett last night at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, I almost didn't take the camera.
Right. I'm like, you're taking that camera because some shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't get to see that. Well, all that did with the Discovery Channel and that whole deal there was they brought, and then they started creating the characters, right? And then they started creating, okay, well, we want you to say this.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want this to happen. So they wrote a script, no different than watching Yellowstone or whatever the new one that's coming out. Landman.
You got Tulsa King down there, right, about you?
Absolutely, Tulsa King. But it's no different than writing that script. Mm-hmm. People want to see it.
Yeah.
The drama.
And the problem is, they don't have the access to it. So we're trying to change that, and we're working on that this weekend. And why I'm over here is I know that you have one of the biggest followings there is out there, and to be a part of you is important to me too. And I appreciate it very much because it's only going to help grow the sport. It's not just me; it's helping grow the sport because I'm going to spread it. I'm going to spread it, no different than the way you're spreading it.
Yeah, and I'm, personally, I'm like a small tire radial streetcar guy, so I'm trying to bridge my personal gap into that world and know like people like you a little more because I'm pretty out of that world. Like I don't have a pro mod, I don't have a class car, so I'm trying to like bridge the gap a little bit here, and I think a lot of people don't have that bridge as much,
But I think it's changing.
It is.
I mean, I've seen there's quite a few drag and drive people at this event this weekend.
Oh,
I mean, you got Cletus is there. I mean, him and Sean were running around in the car yesterday. They were. I mean, the pictures on the internet. I mean, Sean,
yeah.
they were hanging out yesterday, and Cletus is sitting there with drag racing with everybody, and you got a lot of small tire guys, photographer. You have friends that are come in, and I mean, I know Sickweed's next week. So they're like, screw it. I get 2 great races in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Wes, can I come?
If Sick Week wasn't next week, I would have tried to put a 235 on my car and ran that limited street with that tiny tires. But
I used to, what, in Tulsa, we had a 235 class.
it's pretty cool class. Those small tires are like,
My God, they got
small.
fast too.
They're fast cars.
I'm like, they got too fast. MX 235, I think is what it was called.
Some of them are scared
Amanda
to go too
Hoover.
fast.
Amanda Hoover's son is the one that started it. God, I can't remember his name. But anyway, Amanda Hoover's the tuner for Eddie Rogers Pro Mod. He doesn't race anymore, but Eddie Rogers, she was the tuner for him, and her son. Anyway, her son was the one that had that 275 class.
Yeah.
And we had who's the guy that's got the red Nova from California? Goes around, kicks everybody's butt.
One I know from California is Roger Holder, but he races RBW. And
It's been maybe back in the day, but anyway, the guy he ran a lot of the Vegas race, the whatever male race.
I think you're talking about the Outlaw 10.5 car.
Yeah.
Lance Carnegie.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. On the wheelie bars through the 8th mile cone.
Yes.
Yeah, Lance's car's cool.
Yeah.
That thing is just cool.
We used to have all that stuff in Tulsa. They used to travel around to us. So this is what I'm excited about for Tulsa is that the drag and drive.
Yeah, I mean, we have 5 days of drag and drive racing this year.
I mean, think about y'all know about Larry Larson. I mean, he set the records at Tulsa.
Yeah.
Records were set at Tulsa. Mm-hmm. Records are going to be set at Tulsa this year.
Well, the issue too is with Bandamere not being there anymore. It migrated the whole drag and drive south a little bit.
Yeah.
For what they had to do.
Especially for Mega Week, like Rocky Mountain Race Week. I mean, that 600 cars, like the struggle that Matt and June had were like, where do you host an event that could handle 600 cars every day? Like literally a one-day event that 600 cars could come in and set up. And like Tulsa's the host track, can't wait to have them there. And then you go around to a few others, like you couldn't do that at Bandamere and Kearney, and like it would be hard to do Mega Week in the Rocky Mountains. Now they are going back when Bandamere gets built. They are going back, but we can't wait till this year, man. Mega Week's going to be crazy.
Yeah, and then I remember back when Drag Week was coming through here quite a bit, and I think Jenny's still running one of them. Or she's
not Drag Week anymore. Jenny
not
works
Drag
for
Week. Huh?
She works for Tom now, doing his events.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've known her forever, and but I like it all coming back to Tulsa. This is our best schedule. I promise you. This is the best schedule since probably 2017, 16.
That's
Yep.
cool. I mean, you always hear about the fear in drag racing, but you constantly hear all these tracks that have their best schedule ever is coming up this year. I mean, BMP,
That's the
for
best
sure,
schedule.
it's their best schedule ever.
Gotta be, yeah.
For you, for sure, best schedule. SGMP, probably the same deal.
And he's awesome. Oh, you want to hear a story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody's coming through Tulsa and is going to go back toward SMG or South
year.
Georgia, Enigma body that I wrecked in 2015 is going to is it? It's
Raul Torres.
Raul. I gave it to Raul. He's building a building, and he wants to put it up in the building.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Hanging from
So-
the rafters.
No, but it's already ready to go.
Yeah,
The body's already together. It's sitting right behind my shop. So if anybody is willing to take it up there for Raul,
Yeah.
Anybody that you all know
From Tulsa to SGMP.
Yep. Yep. From Tulsa to SGMP, and maybe somebody during the big dragon drives or going
Yeah, I
up
mean,
that back that way.
If I had known, we'd have probably put that out.
Maybe we'll put it out and see if somebody
It's
will
too
do
late
it.
now. They're already down here, man. It's Thursday.
They better be down here.
No.
by now.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about maybe
For
we'll
in
put
the
it out
future.
for future.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that's willing to do it. I mean, that helps Raul. He's like, I'll come get it. I'll
Oh,
come
you're
get
coming
it.
back for World Series of Pro Mod, right?
Yeah, but the truck.
Yeah, but I don't have that.
Put it on the roof.
No,
not
no.
going
The
back,
truck and
staying
trailer
here.
is staying here.
Yeah.
I was kind enough that Manny Majinga has a place here, and we've left ours since we went to Indianapolis and had the PRI show where the car was in it and everything, and it was 4 hours shorter to come to Florida. So they came to Florida, and Manny leased a spot in his shop, and it's been here, and it's going to be here till after World Series, and maybe till April until we take it. I think it would stand because it's 4 hours closer to our first race than it is to go back to Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Manny's new car is pretty nice. That Lexus.
yes,
That thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
It used to be the Econu car
That's
out
correct.
in the
Yep.
Middle East,
Yes.
and then it brought it over here, and I obviously had to make it red.
Yep.
yeah, everything's red. I don't think he has anything that isn't.
Everything's red.
But yeah, that thing's pretty nice.
Yeah.
They did a good job on that, and it's cool to see like a different body style.
Exactly how I see it.
There's no Lexus really.
Well, I got some news coming out soon. I ain't gonna do it now, but
Yeah,
there's.
don't say anything.
But I got some more coming. But see, that's all part of the wait.
That's right.
So
Oh, I'm sure you do. I don't think for a second that you're resting where you're at. Like, oh yeah, we're good where we're at. We'll just coast.
oh
a
no
little bit.
no. This kid's gonna drive a little bit next year too. So
Pro mod. Woo.
I don't know about Pro Mod yet. We're gonna have to
down
wait
on
on that one. He thinks he can beat me.
Oh,
But you know what? He's 21 years old and probably can kick my ass. They can see a hell of a lot better than me.
Do the practice tree.
He can get out. Yeah.
Yeah, so the plan is Midwest runs a Pro 420 class, which is like maybe some older Pro Mod cars that aren't quite on the front edge there.
I call it, and this is not a pun. It's just, it's generally the guy that is over 70 and doesn't really want to work on his car as much. But 420 is still fast as hell.
Oh yeah, and
420 is a
they're
fast
Pro
pass.
Mods. And what's cool about that class?
But they think it's
Dave-
slow because they've all been 60s,
yeah,
50s.
Dave Pierce, Jeff's dad,
70.
runs that
Yep,
class for the
yep.
Midwest Series and five race series in it. And those cars are bad to the bone. Like I mean, you've got like Ogden's 55 or
Ogden.
6.
55. And you get to see
like
you get to see all the cool cars
Yeah,
that one in that
David
class.
Pierce's GTO.
That's a
Pontiac?
No, he's
Yeah.
got a new car coming out. He's bringing that gorilla. The gorilla's coming back.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
putting the gorilla
Ron
back.
Minnick's old car. So and then that his car will be driven by somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah.
63 Corvette.
All the different,
Travis
like
Leach.
all the ones that can't run the 60s
Yeah.
or don't have the funds or don't want to spend the money to run that fast. They can run this class, and I call it my
a lot
junior
easier.
pro mod.
Yeah.
Well, they turned it down a little bit, and you're not blowing the
Right.
motor
You're not
apart
running
every
as hard.
time.
Yeah.
and
Right.
Yeah, a little easier to
Ryan
run.
Bush
But you
came
can't
out this
run
last
faster than
year in a
420.
Ryan
in a
Bush is
car.
awesome.
It's like
Yeah.
a fast index. It's like a very fast
That-
index
that's
class.
exactly
It
right.
is
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah,
So was
it's,
there any
it's
time
awesome.
owning this track that you were like, oh man, I'm gonna lose the track. I'm not like this is crazy.
We're gonna
Like,
lose the shot.
You know what I mean? Was there any time where you're like, I shouldn't be doing this? Because it's
Every
not an
day.
easy
No.
thing.
Tuesday?
Yeah, well, it's today. Nothing happened today, so we're good.
No fires to put out yet.
Todd and I would sell the track if they would love it the way we love it. No one's going to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't love it, if you don't love the sport, if you don't care about the community, if all you care about is yourself, owning a racetrack's not for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably wouldn't be able to run a successful racetrack if
No.
that's your mentality.
I learned a lot from Tulsa. which helped me start the Midwest. And the only reason the Midwest started is because PDRA and ADRL and all them didn't want to come to the Midwest anymore. Mm-hmm. So I created a series, and here we are. How many years later? Next year will be our
year.
This is our 9th year.
Yeah.
Shout out
And-
to Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen Eschenbacher and the whole crew, Daniel and the boys. We've got a whole lot. I got to say, Summit Racing Equipment coming on, being the naming rights sponsor. Jim Whiteley, which is a personal friend of mine, J&A Service. He great supporter of the series. I got a lot of them, and they just give. They care as much as I do. But there's not many of those out there that. I mean, you care about drag and drive, right?
I care about all drag racing. I love drag and drive, and I love anytime two
got a
cars are
motor.
going down the track, I'm in.
Yeah. So I even like the bracket cars. So
I'm sure you do.
and they bitch the most. But I still, they help generate to the pro mod class. I mean, I kind of pissed off at NHRA because I can't even know the girl's name that she's doing a fans only or whatever, which is nothing, and that only lasts so long for these women. But but she's sponsored by them.
Saw that.
Yeah.
And then they say, "I'm sorry, you can't run that on the side of your car."
Right before the season starts.
Right before the season. I mean, that's some bullshit.
That's the
After
problem.
2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, and she's not even mad that they told her no.
Because
She's
told me
mad
before PRI.
Yeah, she's mad they told her no. 2 months before the season starts, and she's ran it for 2 years. No warning, no nothing.
And it's got contract signed from what I understood and everything.
all the
But
stuff.
hell, you can come run over here with us, Midwest. I mean, I think what you run, top alcohol? No.
She was a top fuel car.
Huh?
Top fuel car. Or top
think
alcohol?
it was an alcohol car.
Yeah, top
Alcohol.
funny
Top
car.
alcohol funny car.
But wanting to work into Top Fuel, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know that we could create that class for them. I mean, Myers has been trying to get me to do that long skinny class for a while, but hell, bring that fans only sponsor over to Midwest and put it in a funny car.
Yeah.
No, you can drive that. If you can drive the other one, you can drive that one. But I think it's just bull crap. They should have. And I'm an NHRA track, but ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't do something.
Well, you're the right person that can speak up because you're what NHRA needs. I mean, they're kind of nothing without the tracks, and most of them are privately owned. NHRA only owns a handful of them.
Right.
So you're the right guy to be able to speak up against bullshit that they pull.
I mean, to me, that's censorship. That's that to me is like the government telling you can't eat red meat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
our
Is it
world.
even
Our world
televised
is.
either top alcohol.
No.
I don't even think it's televised, so they can't be like, well, it's Fox that's doing it, Because I know they do that in NASCAR. They're like, you can't have a firearm sponsor because Fox said no, and like stupid things like that. NASCAR bullshit.
Yeah, but I don't even know that they tell them no over there.
I think they're pretty strict about
Are they?
alcohol, tobacco, firearm sponsors. You can't have tobacco sponsors in NASCAR.
Wow.
Not anymore.
I didn't know
Winston
that.
ran that thing for a long time.
You used to be a Marlboro
racing
car.
as well.
Yeah.
It was a Marlboro car.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? You want to hear an old story?
Yeah, we want to hear old stories.
So I had a buddy of mine. What got me into drag racing? What started my drag racing career, or what got me to want to do it?
Yeah.
Anybody remember when Mike Dunn was driving the Snicker car?
Yep.
Me and my buddies jumped in a car, and we're going to Texas Motorplex. And we stay the night in the parking lot at Texas Motorplex in a truck. All right, we're in the bed of the truck. We had a little camper, the old camper shell that you turn sideways and lift up. And we threw some blankets in there and we slept in it. I got up and I walked through we got tickets. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were even giving it to us. We didn't have no money. We had enough money to get up there and get gas and a little bit to eat on. That was it. But I'm walking through the pits and I'm seeing John Force. I'm seeing all these guys and I walk over to Mike Dunn's pit and he says, "Son, you want to come sit in the Snicker car?" And he did. I doubt he even remembers this, but he said he wouldn't. I think I was 17 and 16 or 17. And I sat in his car, and of course, they weren't like they are today, but they were like, to me, they're like the Pro 420 class,
Yeah.
you know. But that's the kind of cars they were. And I sat in that car. I said, I'm going to do this one day. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I said, I'm going to do this one day. When I do it, I'm going to do it like these guys right here. And here it am today doing exactly that.
Yep.
That's some.
Yeah.
It made me think
awesome.
about that.
And that's one of the
awesome.
That's one of the coolest reasons for drag racing, and why, I mean, Wes preaches this all the time about why it's so good for families and why it's so good to be a sport. Because how many times does that happen at a NASCAR event?
Oh,
How many times does that happen?
you don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's
Yeah.
most of the NASCAR guys come out of the dirt world. They come out of the sprint cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But NASCAR, they keep the fans as far away from the cars as possible. You never even get near them. They're like
know.
in the center, all
I
locked
know.
away, and
Yeah.
you're out there.
I just went to one. I mean, I will tell you that I did get full access pass with Jeffrey Earnhardt.
You might have been in a different situation than normal.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky. And Jeffrey Earnhardt invited me to his race in Phoenix. Went there, and I got to be right next to the car. And while they were putting the fuel in it, let me tell you what. A lot of people don't see the inside of that either. That's some work. Them guys are sitting there freaking doing push-ups and stretching their legs and.
Well, they're full
flipping.
gear, their helmets on, like
mean-
pit crew.
I'm gonna expect that tomorrow.
I mean, they were it was some crazy stuff. I learned a lot from that too, and I watched. But let me tell you what NASCAR does do. They entertain the fans.
Yeah.
They do. I was very, very impressed with the way they entertained the fans.
Yeah.
And the food is like going to a carnival,
Yeah.
and that's how we do the throwdowns. We have carnival food.
So let me ask you, you're talking about like a Snickers car. Why do we still not see bigger sponsors like that in Pro Mod? Because like none of these Pro Mods out there are going to have like a corporate sponsor like that. And that's big money. Maybe they don't want them. Some of them would happily put Snickers on their car.
I have Summit on my car.
Summit's a pretty big sponsor for sure.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah, they're up there, but for the majority,
Right.
Yeah,
and that's a
They
car
don't know
brand.
yet, but we're going to change that.
Yeah, that
But we-
and the personality in there.
That's
like
right.
there's not 50 guys there's not 50 people on or 40 people on the track at the same time. So it's looked at different. Like that car keeps making this
Yeah,
loop,
that's right.
and every time it goes by, there's a blurry Snicker sign on it, and they just for 3 hours they think, man, that's the way to go. But with social, I mean, you're a huge proponent, huge leader in this fact. Like, we're building new brands. We're building social media brands for these racers and business guys and all this stuff. And if Pro Mod's going to be in the front of that, like,
I'm telling you,
we're
Pro
gonna
Mod is
see
the
that.
freaking.
We're gonna
I think
see
these
big
corporate sponsors will start showing up.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got to have a business plan. And most everybody is, hey, I'm Keith Haney. I think you ought to give me money because I'm a bad some bitch.
Well,
and I won a championship. Will you give me money?
right.
Well, what am I going to get?
Get
Well, I'm Keith Haney.
Well, they
Get a
don't even know how
decal
to
on my
price
car.
themselves either.
Oh,
I do.
100%.
Yeah, you probably do, but most don't.
But look at like at a big NHRA event we went to after Drag Week last year. I don't know if you stopped by that one at Charlotte that Mike and them set up, but like those guys have VIP areas. They have food for all their sponsors, all that kind of stuff. Like I don't see that in the pits today.
No.
Like here at
Yeah.
There's
US
not
Street
many.
Nets, there's
So, like, the bigger rivalry in drag racing, I believe, today is me and Stevie Fast. Always has.
Well, right,
It's always been that way. But
Yeah.
there's not the Lyle Barnetts and the Keith Haneys and the Stevie. There's not many of us that will talk. There's only, like I said, it's the good old boy club that already has the money.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I don't want to spend my money. I'm going to come up with but I've got to do better. And that's what we're working on this weekend. Some of the things that I've stepped away. I did it really good when I was radio racing. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I think there's 1.9 million if you just type in my name in Google. There's 1.9 million things about me now.
Yeah.
But I want it to be like some others that's got 5 million.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or that's what I want.
Victor is a good example because he's got a new Pro Mod that's about to roll out.
Yep.
And he'll probably do those things. He'll talk some shit with other drivers. He'll do some bets. Like, he's
I
that type
agree.
of guy.
I agree.
And
But
I
I think
think
that-
he'll be good for pro mod in general because another track owner with a pro mod is also good.
Yeah, he won't run his own race. He already said that. That's what he said.
I think
So-
he'll just put Troy in it or somebody drive it.
I want to, we own our own live streaming equipment at Midwest Drag Racing Series. We aired on Flow last year. This year, I haven't figured out which way I'm going with it yet, but I want people to see behind the scenes, but it takes a lot of money to do that.
Yeah.
And we've got to, with us owning our own stuff, and we can do some time lapse stuff, go set something in a pit. And the problem is you got to have time to edit it. You got to have time to do this, and you're trying to run a race, and you got guys bitching about rules, and nobody's this tech or someone
We used to
didn't.
mic up everyone at Street Outlaws. Everyone was mic'd
yeah.
up.
Everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Like that takes a huge operation just to get that done and get the audio.
But I
Just
think
that.
I think
Yes.
this year I haven't decided what, and I'll say it here. I haven't decided where I'm going to air our live streaming, whether it be free or with Flow or with someone. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
There's a win-win somewhere there where you don't get paid. If you do it for free, you get bigger viewership, you get more of this, and then all of a sudden sponsors want to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't figured out which way I want to go with it yet. And
I love some good old fashioned YouTube live streams. I really do. YouTube's got such a good platform for it, and
Well, I think we did it.
tend
We
to
did
just
it
work.
during the Lanny Maples memorial race. Lanny Maples was a great racer that had passed away with cancer. His son is Jeremy Maples, badass, top sportsman and bracket racer. But they live streamed Michael and.
And we live stream all the testing
Yeah.
with Midwest.
Well, I'm talking
The
about
restroom.
yeah, you're good.
I've got to pee.
No, you're good. Just go around the side.
But the live streaming, there's just so many. You got to pay so many different places,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got to weigh the. I got
tough.
two live streaming partners, or three live streaming partners. I don't want 20. You can see some that is free that's got.
Starts to dilute the ones anyways. Like once there's 20, you don't even know of any of them. Once
Yeah.
there's 3, you know all of them.
Yeah, and our live streaming also has timing on it.
Yeah.
So you could see the time.
That's
Doesn't
cool.
say the driver's name, but it says the car number and what they ran at the bottom of the screen after the pass. So I've got a lot of cool shit that, buying all that live streaming equipment and hauling it to track, but we control it. Nobody
Yeah.
else does.
How many
And
tracks are in your series? Is it?
So we cut it back this year from 8 to 7.
That's a lot of tracks.
Yeah. So Tulsa, we have we start our season off at XRP, and if you've not been to XRP, I don't know if they got a drag and drive at XRP yet or not, but I'm telling you, that's one of the nicest tracks. My buddy, a good friend of mine, Clyde Scott, and then he's actually just bought RJ Race Cars.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
He's a good friend of mine, and he owns that track. And Galen and Celeste run it, and they do an amazing job. So hopefully we start our season off there, and then we go from there to Tulsa for the throwdown. That's in May, and then June we go to Odessa, Missouri, and
Flying H.
with Flying H,
Flying
that's owned by
H,
Scott
another-
Higgs and
another
Blake
drag racer,
Hosley. Blake
yeah.
Hosley runs that track, and then we. I think we're off there, right? Let's see here.
And go back.
No, I'm sorry. All right, let's go back. So in May, we have 2 in May. So we go from XRP to Tulsa, from Tulsa to Cincinnati, Ohio. I added a new track this year that I've
Ohio.
always wanted to go up there, and we're going to Edgewater.
Yep.
You've probably been there.
I've heard many things about it now.
Great track.
It's on my list.
And Rob's a great guy that owns and runs that deal up there. So we go there, and then we go
Flying
to
H.
Flying H, and then we're off for the season,
That's correct.
or for basically the hot months.
Yeah.
I don't want to race in the heat.
We do the same thing in Florida.
Yeah.
Because it's rainy season
Exactly.
and it's no reason to race in the
Yeah.
summer.
So then we open back up at Martin, Michigan, and we finish it in Tulsa, and we're done.
No, you have to Martin, Michigan. You have another SmackDown.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Martin, Michigan. Then we go to Odessa, and then we have, and both in September, and then we have Tulsa for the World Finals, the Ronnie Hobbs World Final.
Hey, one thing I put together today too, or yesterday, was Jimmy Dale is racing the Yellow Belly for Little Gangsters on April 12th and 13th.
Oh, he lost money to me last night.
I know, but I'm thinking we're going to be at XRP April 12th and 13th. So I'm going to message him after this and see if we can figure out something.
I think he's meeting us in a little bit for some little go-kart racing, isn't he?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, those
yeah.
things are pretty close, those two tracks, right?
Yeah.
XRP and Yellow Belly.
Yeah.
They're real
So-
close together.
That would be kind of fun.
He lost $20 to me flipping last night. Thank God for Steve-O here, because Steve said, change quarters. Don't flip with his quarter.
That's right.
But it was interesting to talk to him, too, because I didn't know he said he was a fan of me.
Yeah.
And I didn't. He said,
Yeah.
he goes, I remember it all, Donald. I remember everything. He goes, and I wasn't even old enough to do anything. And here he is. Now he's got all these big followings.
He's been a diehard spectator for drag racing for a long time because even he's newly making YouTube and stuff. And I was talking to him and he's telling me about stuff from 2012 and 14 and things like that. He'd
He'd be a great announcer too.
He would be.
Yeah, you'd be a good announcer.
I don't know if I'd want to do that long of sitting there.
I don't know. We've been here a while because I got a big mouth.
Yeah. I was actually about to say we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
And whatever socials we want to put in the bottom, plug them away. Let's get some social media stuff. That's how
I
we
want to
always
thank
end it off.
everybody. I want to thank you again, sir.
Dude,
Thank you
It
very
was
much
great
for
meeting you. It
having
was
me.
great
out.
having you on. That was a lot of fun.
Mike setting it up. Bobby, Steve, Brandon Schweitzer, everybody out there. Jim Greenleaf at Summit Racing Equipment, and John Horner, we call him the midget.
That's right.
Wait. Oh, I can't say what Pat calls him. Sorry. Yeah.
Maybe not on YouTube.
Not on
maybe Facebook.
YouTube. But thanks for everybody watching in and or listening in either way. We appreciate it, and hopefully you got to have a little fun with us.
Oh, yeah. Follow Keith Haney's socials.
Yeah.
Plug them away.
Yeah, Keith Haney Racing is number one. So we're focusing this weekend. Really going to be a ton of videos come out of that. Tulsa Raceway Park, love you guys. Follow us over there. Keep up with all the stuff going on. Tulsa Speedway, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the stuff. We're on all those places everywhere. And then you can follow Mike Narks and all my drag and drive life over on Drag Driver Pete, me and Eric White. Big shout out to Eric, who's jealous I'm here today. So.
And then the other part is don't forget our YouTube channel. We're trying to build it up, and Keith Haney Racing, and
subscribe.
And man, help me grow. I think we've grown a bunch today, but
it's like we're up 70 subscribers since 2 days ago, since Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
yeah. So we're up. We're really putting some emphasis into some stuff, and I think we've got. I haven't seen it. We have one post up that had over 226 hours watched in less than
That's the
3
best
hours.
marketing strategy is your own content.
Yeah,
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's cool stuff again, like we talked earlier. Like we're going to build a brand around the
Follow
pro
the Winter
mod stuff, and
Series,
then,
follow drag
as
racing.
Bobby gets in this car, I can't wait to see some of the stuff that'll come from that. Bobby has experience, but nothing like this. So,
Well, good deal, guys. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on. We will see you next time.